Hello guys, good evening. Welcome to the session. We will wait a couple of minutes for others to join. Yeah, is anybody of you joining this session for the first time? Okay, we will just wait a couple of minutes. Let's see if others join. Guys, this is a live interactive session, so please feel free to use your mics anytime you want to add something or discuss something. Okay, we'll wait one more minute then. You guys can see the screen and hear me clearly, right? This is the tech check.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, thank you. Okay, uh, good evening, guys. Welcome once again to the session. The course is Project Planning and Control. The course instructor is Professor Koshy Verghese at IIT Madras. I am Nandgopal Mahajan, a PhD fellow at IIT Delhi. So, coming to the course, As you would have known, this is the third session. This course covers basic concepts of project planning and control, and it basically covers the scheduling part of project management. Uh, so we have already discussed week one and week two components. Uh, week one and week two components. So what was in week one? Basic introduction part. Week two we started to learn about time management component, and we worked out bar charts. Okay, so what did we have in bar charts? We had activities, and also we were given the start date or end date or the duration. Now how do you calculate the duration? We will take a look at this part. And as you can see in week 4 we have got network representation and analysis part 2. So we will be covering part 1 or the introduction part in week 3 here. Okay, so again coming to the topics that we will cover: activity duration and productivity, network basics, and some things about event time and activity times. Sorry, excuse me guys for a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. So, the first thing we will discuss is activity duration. What do you mean by activity duration, and what are the factors that affect activity duration? Or you can directly start with how do you calculate activity duration? Guys, this is an interactive session. So, for the guys joining for the first time and for those who have joined earlier also, feel free to turn on your mics. If we discuss, the flow would be good. Otherwise, it would just be a monologue and the contents would get over very quickly and without much insight. Okay, so coming back, what do you mean by activity duration? What factors affect it, or how do you calculate activity duration? See, you have gone through week three's contents, so I am sure that you have uh, learned this in detail, all the processes. I am just asking you to give the overview.
So activity duration is a time that an activity takes to complete, like from the starting and till its end. And there are various factors that affects activity duration, such as resources, a number of resources, productivity,
Mm,
and
okay,
other
so
factors as well.
okay, activity duration, as the name suggests, it's the time in how much time the activity will finish. And right now, two factors were told here, right? One was resources and one was productivity.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Anything else? Resources, productivity,
Nature of activity.
nature of activity. Okay. Okay. So let's delve deep into this and try to calculate activity duration, or let's see how productivity affects activity duration. So the question is, for an activity consisting of brickwork of 1000 SQM, 1 meter one brick thick wall, determine the duration if a team of one mason and two laborers complete 4 SQM brickwork per day and 12 such teams are deployed. Uh, can you guys go through this question? Is everybody familiar what's happening here? The
Yes, sir.
total quantum of work is given. productivity is given, team size is given. What is asked? The duration of activity. Can you determine it?
Yes, sir.
How?
Sir, we'll be following a top-down approach. Like we have been given the total quantity of works that is to be done. So that is, let's just first write that thousand
Okay.
square per meter, 1,000 square meter.
Okay. Then
Then we'll come to our resources. Like it's mentioned that if a team of one mason and two laborers complete. So like we will be now calculating the productivity, and then we'll be dividing both to get the duration.
see, productivity is already given to you. Okay. It is 4 SQM per day.
So yeah, we'll be calculating the production, and then we'll be dividing the two to get the duration.
Okay. So uh, let's write first. Okay. Per day per team is how much? 4 SQM. And number of teams? 12. So uh, per day productivity is how much? Per day rate is 48.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so if you have to calculate the number of days, it would directly be 1000 by 48. So somewhere around 20 days, 21 days. How much is it?
Yeah, 21 approximately, 20.83,
21.83 or 20.83?
20.83.
Okay.
And
Okay. So 21 days. Is this. So are you happy with this?
so like that's the very you can say the ideal case, but it can vary from it as well.
Okay.
Like the productivity, like various factors have to be accounted in that as well.
So let's say this is your ideal case. What would be the other factors affecting here?
Like the if we talk about this 4 square meter brickwork per day, like that's based on like average, like it's not constant.
Okay.
So depending upon various factors like where the brickwork is happening, and is there a height factor added to it,
Okay.
and the climatic factor as well. So that would directly affect this productivity and then the duration as well.
Okay. So let me write all these things down. Okay. Location. Let's suppose location is at ninth floor. Okay. Uh,
Yes, sir.
so climate is good, so it won't affect your productivity. Now let's come to, if location is ninth floor, then there would be material transport issues, right?
Yes, sir.
So material transport. Then what other factors would be there? There may be some scaffolding.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Safety, uh, like
okay.
cautious working. So
Okay, safety. What about workers not doing the work for the whole duration?
yeah, there can be one factor as well, like maybe lack of management as well, like not proper management at that height. That
Uh,
can also be a factor.
okay, so let's try to incorporate all these. Uh, let's say that because of material factor, I'll just say your productive. I'll just give you productivity factors. Okay. Uh, productivity factors. Let's say material factor is zero point 0.9. Scaffolding is also required, so it reduces your productivity by 15%, 0.85. Safety is also an issue. Let's make it zero point 0.9. What about effective duration? Hmm, let's say the
Effective
team is
duration.
not working for completely 10 hours. Okay, that
Okay.
15% of the time they are not working. Will it be okay with you guys?
I mean, that will be, uh, that's natural. Like if we are allowing some hours, that's natural that they won't be working for 100% hours. So yeah, it will be fine.
Okay. So let's say you have got these four productivity factors, rest are one. So how do you calculate actual productivity from ideal?
So now that will collectively, like if we collectively take all the factors, that will reduce the per square meter work per day, square meter work per day. So maybe we're gonna just multiply all of these with 4
Uh,
SQM.
okay, so multiply all of these, that is one thing. But the formula that you read in your lectures was different, right? Okay, see, what happens is that uh, all of you have studied something about what I can say, probability, right? In some cases we multiply and in some cases we just add on. There are two different cases, right? Or is the term mutually exclusive, giving you some ideas? Okay, have you guys
Yeah,
totally forgotten about probability or what? Okay, so I will not refresh it because just by writing the formula you will get an idea. So what we do here is that uh, let's calculate the factored probability here. Okay, factored productivity. So it would be 1 minus zero point 0.9 for this case. Okay, 1 minus 1 minus zero point 0.9 plus 1 minus 0.85 plus 1 minus zero point 0.9 plus 1 minus 0.85. How much is it? 0.5, right? 0.1, 0.15, 0.1, 0.15, yeah. So 0.5. So what is your actual productivity now is? Uh, Actual productivity is 4 into zero point 0.5. So 2 SQM per day per team.
yes, sir.
So that means
That's
your
reduced.
duration becomes uh, 42 days. Agreed? Right? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you see, just by having different productivity factors affecting your ideal productivity, your duration is changing. Uh, Now the next part is calculate the total cost for labor subcontractor. Labor subcontractor, he is just providing the labor. So let's say his now what will be the cost incurred for him? That would be some direct cost, right? Direct cost of labors. Let's say he pays mason 600 rupees per day. Then he pays labor rupees 400 per day, and indirect cost also for his management and his profit. Let's take, or just for running it, let's say it comes out to be rupees 150 per day. So can you calculate the total labor cost now? There are 12 teams, right? So in 12 teams there is one mason plus two laborers. And for how many days are they employed? 42 days.
42.
This would be your direct cost, right? Plus indirect, it would be 150 into 42. That would give you your total cost. Yeah, that is just to give you an idea of how we utilize the activity duration. We will see more about it when we do some crashing. Okay, so coming to an activity part, your firm has been contracted for delivering and compacting in place 25,000 cubic meter of ready mix concrete in 1 year. As a planning engineer, do your job. So, how many people are here who have site experience? I won't be taking names directly, so you can raise your hands, you can turn on your mics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As a planning engineer, do your job. What is the job of a planning engineer? People from site or
For
people
pouring,
who have already
sir,
been on site?
for
Yeah.
for pouring this 25,000 cubic meter of concrete,
Okay.
for 1 year we have to uh, plan the slab shuttering, reinforcement,
Okay.
and labors required for that doing the shuttering works and the reinforcement upon completion for doing the concrete.
Okay. So, what would be the steps to proceed? I mean, we know that he has to calculate for and cater for so many things now. The equipment, the shuttering for whole year.
Not
Okay,
for the
what
whole
are the
year.
questions arising in your mind as you have been given just two data, the total quantum of work and the total duration?
You have
So,
to
like,
arrange the
how much
materials,
concrete
labor.
needs to be poured each day? That would vary according to the number of the elements that are to be casted on a particular day. So we need that data.
Okay, per day kind of thing, per day work. Anything else you need? Okay, per day work. What factors will govern per day work? See, right now, this is the only contract you have got to deliver and compact in place 25,000 cubic meter of RMC. Total project duration is 1 year.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Uh, Sir, also we would require the information that where is our mixed concrete plant is there, means how far is it from the site,
Okay,
because it will play a major role, sir, location of plant. As it is a 25,000 of cubic meter concrete we have to pour for 1 year, so we'll calculate whether we can transport from our plant or we can set up a new plant for the site, particular site,
okay,
and this will govern the whole thing, that if we are setting up the plant, then from where we could procure the materials for that.
okay. So let's say you are setting up the plant, your firm is setting up the plant.
Okay.
Okay, I will start writing the assumptions also. Setting up plant, cement you can buy from outside, other aggregates and water available on site,
Okay.
okay, available near plant. So you can have your own crusher for aggregates, okay.
Yes, sir.
uh, as the site is near river, so you will get your river sand and water.
We'll be also you'll be needing the mixed design, the design thing that is to be there with the concrete.
Okay, so you
Like,
have been provided with mixed design. A mixed design for M40 is given to you.
Manpower details will
uh,
around this.
Manpower, okay, manpower, let's keep it here. We'll see if it affects or not.
Capacity of the plants, sir.
Capacity of plant, uh, capacity, let's say it can produce at max 30, yeah, 30 cubic meter per hour. Okay. What else? See, you are a planning engineer now. If you don't have
And
some information, ask for it. If you have to calculate some information, we will calculate it.
and also we'll need the sir scheduling of
Machinery.
the activities, that at what time, at what day, what kind of pouring or activity is going to be held in the site, because as per that we're going to prepare our uh,
Okay. Schedule you need. Anything can see. Right now we are at the preliminary stages. We don't have the accurate schedule. Is there anything that we can substitute our schedule with?
we can here coordinate with the subcontractor or
Okay.
contractor, sorry, that
Okay.
a tentative kind of schedule we can take from him or anything. It means I am not getting the exact word for that.
Yeah. Uh, so is this all the information that you need? Can we start planning now? What happened, guys? I mean, see, this is just the application of whatever that you have read till now. Yeah, this is a big, uh, I mean, yeah, big activity. I will say for sure.
So,
Because after this, we will be moving into some, what you can say, some childish things. That's why I want to give you some idea here. Okay, so let me start breaking it down in my way. You have been given 1 year in India. Can you do the work for whole year?
no, sir.
I mean, obviously rains are there, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Weather conditions.
yeah, so weather conditions. So that brings your total duration to 10 months, right? Now, if this is your total duration, do you think your uh, requirement of concrete would be uniform throughout the year?
No, sir. Some days it will be high, some days it will be low.
Okay. So let's do one thing, that your max demand is equal to twice of your average demand. See, instead of schedule, you can use this kind of thing also, na? We will see if it helps or not. So that means if we have to calculate your average demand per month becomes uh, 2500 cubic meter, right? And so max demand is 5000 cubic meter. So if you are capable of supplying this 5000 cubic meter, that means you can supply for the whole project, right? 5000 cubic meter per month. Okay. So how many days of the month do you expect the work would be there?
26.
26. Okay. So days 26. So let's keep it at 25. It would help us in calculation. So per day demand, max per day demand, how much is it?
5,000 to 20.
Hmm?
200.
200.
200, na?
Yeah. Are you in the position to supply 200 cubic meter per day?
No. Yes, yes, we can do. Per day we cannot plan. Accordingly, we have to make ready the shuttering, reinforcement, and all. So it will take some gap between the concrete 200 MQ per day.
No, but sir, 30 MQ per hour is our capacity. If we'll take 8 hour of working, then we'll able to produce 240 cubic meter per day, sir.
Okay.
Okay, after pouring one pour, what for the next day, what you will do? There will be no continuous concreting.
See, right now let's compare what we have with us. Okay, aggregates and sand and water are available. Okay, we are
Yes.
not talking about shuttering right now. It is
No, if
another
it is a
contractor's job.
RCC, if it is a plain concrete, we can do daily. If
Yeah.
it is a PCC, we can do daily 200 m cube like that, according to the capacity of the plant.
Okay.
If it is a RCC,
Yeah.
you have to record some time.
See, that is one thing now. We don't have to do 200 cubic meter per day. It is your maximum per day demand. So that if you are able to supply for the maximum quantity for the whole duration, you are okay, right? On some days your
Yes,
requirement would be 0, on some days it would be 20, some days it would be 50, but
yes,
it won't go
very.
above 200.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And per day how much you can supply? You can say 30 mq. So per day, just effective working is 8 hours. If you say that, that makes it how much? 240 mq.
2 point.
Yes, sir.
14.
So you are able to supply maximum per day demand, right?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes.
by one factor you are okay, that as a planning engineer you are happy that okay, my maximum capacity is this much, my maximum demand would be limited to this, so I am in a position to supply. Now the thing comes, okay, I am happy with the plant, what about other things? You don't only need the plant, right? You will need trucks to transport, or transit mixers.
Yes, sir.
So let's try to calculate, just what do you want to calculate, trucks or transit mixers?
Transit mixer, sir.
Okay,
Transit mixer.
transit mixer. Let's say, what is the capacity of a transit mixer?
Sir,
7
6
cube.
to 8 cubic meter.
6 to 8 cubic meter. Okay,
Yes, sir.
8 cubic meter, let's say. And so how many transit mixers will you need? How will you calculate it?
Sir. Can it be
6
depend
into
on the distance, sir?
Okay, so let's say the total cycle time for transit mixer is uh, cycle time is 30 minutes. I know it's too much, but let's work with this. Okay, 20 minutes. Total cycle time is 20 minutes. That in 20 minutes it would fill itself, uh, go and pour and come back. Okay, now it seems too little. I would go with 30. Okay, so total cycle time is 30 minutes. Then how many transit mixers do you need?
I mean, that will depend upon, each day, like how much we have to pour
Four
the
numbers,
concrete.
4 to 5 numbers. It's
Okay, we are talking about catering for the maximum demand. I have got one answer, 4 to 5. Sir, how did you come to this number?
mm, that the 8 hours.
Okay, so let's.
Generally, we use.
The distance need, like we also need the distance as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. This cycle time takes care of everything. I mean,
Okay, okay.
pouring, travel, each and everything is included. Even breakdown. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Now tell me.
Sir, as it is 8 hours, so it is having total 480 minutes. If we'll divide by 30 minutes, the answer is coming 60. So,
Okay, uh, then let me write it here. 480 by. Okay,
30.
so instead of that, I would write it into 8 into 60 by 30.
Yes, sir.
So this brings us to 16, which is very high than the previously quoted
High.
4 to 5.
16 is
Eight
something.
transition mixers, sir.
Okay, 8 transit mixers. How are you calculating, guys? I need to know
Because
this because I haven't
i-
calculated it.
in 1 hour, sir, our capacity is 30 cubic meter per hour, na?
Okay, So you are
and
working with
one
capacity.
transmitter
Yeah.
8 cubic meter.
Okay. Then.
So as per this, in 30 minutes, so 32 cubic meter for 4 transmitter.
Um, okay. Let me write
In
this part. Okay. So we have got 30 cubic meter per hour in 60 minutes.
4 hours.
Okay. Uh, so we have got 8 cubic meter. So let's say we have to so number of mixers per hour becomes uh, 30 by 8, right?
Yes,
Because 8 is the capacity. How much is it? 4? Around 4?
4.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh, but as you can see that the cycle time is 30 minutes only. So in 60 minutes you require 4. So for 30 minutes, as the cycle time is
yes,
30 minutes, so you will require only 2, right?
2. Yes,
I mean, let's say you have got 2 transit mixers. So in 30 minutes you will be transporting 2 into 8, 16 cubic meter. Similarly, in the next 30 minutes you will be transporting 32 cubic meter, and it is more than 30 cubic meter. So are you happy with this, guys? Number of transit mixers is equal to 2.
No, sir. Not
Why not?
2 is very less.
Okay, sir. Why is 2 very less? I mean, see, I am talking only about the figures that are in front of us right now. Why is 2 very less?
Yes, sir. It is okay, sir. For me, it is okay, sir.
Okay.
no, any breakdown condition we required additional 1 or 2 transmission for cycle.
Okay.
One we can put on standby if it will allow us, sir.
Uh,
Yes.
okay. So you guys are not happy to include breakdown in the cycle time. So okay, we will add one additional for this. Uh, okay. Are you guys happy now? Okay. So similarly, can you calculate for other instruments also? Like if you have to procure some vibrators or compactors and manpower required, can you calculate the maximum manpower and average manpower? Can you calculate the cost if the schedule is given to you? I mean, can you perform the duties of a planning engineer now? Okay, you were already performing it, so I'm not. And that was a rhetoric. So, now coming to the next part of our session, networks. What do you mean by network? Just basic definition. What do you mean by a network? Basic. See, right now, I mean, we are in the. Yeah. What is a network?
Like that, a pictorial representation that shows various connection between the elements, like their dependencies, sequencing, etc.
Okay, is it always a pictorial representation? I am just asking about a network. Forget CPM, forget AoA, forget AoN. Just a network. What is a network? You are using, I mean, social media, that is social network, right? Facebook, Orkut. I mean, yeah, I am from the Orkut generation. Is there anybody who doesn't know about Orkut here?
I am also the
No,
same,
sir,
sir.
output.
I am also from the Orkut generation.
Okay,
Scrap.
yeah. Yeah, so what is a network? I mean,
Like in
you
general
guys,
terms, like it,
yeah,
network is a thing like that shows linkages, like various linkages for each element.
okay. So if you have got more than one element and you're linking it, it is kind of a network, right?
Yes, sir.
Or is there anything else to a network? More than one element has to be there and there has to be some link, right? More
Yes,
than
sir.
one element, more than one link. Okay, so this is the basic. We will see how it came, how we have already discussed bar charts. We saw that there were no dependencies or relationships shown there. So we will try to move on from there. So let's discuss some very basic questions. Which technique is primarily used for analyzing the interdependencies between project activities? As we are talking about network analysis, this is network analysis, right? I am
Yes.
not like, okay. What is an activity in project management? So when we talked about network analysis, talked about a network, what did we talk? More than one element and joining them, right? So what we are interested here is in activities and events.
Yes, sir.
So what do you mean by an activity?
Like activity is a like task that is to be really performed, and event is like uh, any instant of time. Like what's the actual phase of it? Like it's completed, it started. That is an event.
Okay, so activity is a specific task or work to be performed in a project, and event is what? A milestone indicating project progress or something
Yes.
else?
Uh, yes, sir. Milestone.
Milestone.
Okay, so what do activities and events represent in a project network diagram? This is the combination of previous two. Okay, this is just okay. How are activities and events related in project management? The definition of events, when he was telling, he mentioned about it. Activities leads to milestone, right? Or event lead to activities. Or activities and events are interchangeable terms. See now, this kind of activities represent the start and end of event. Now this question is where we test whatever we have gone through the previous four questions.
Event, I think, event leads to activities which are tasks.
Okay, anybody else? Just one more guess or anyone who seconds his opinion?
See, the first one, like that is definitely not true.
Okay,
Activity has been the start and end of it. And then the second one, activity leads to milestone, uh, which are events. So that is also true, I think. Uh,
okay. Uh, so this also seems true. What about D? These are not interchangeable, right? So
yes, sir.
let's
That's
so
for sure. These are
yeah.
not
So let's do
interchangeable.
one thing. We will come back to this after we see a network diagram. Okay.
Like if we talk about, like if we take any activities, for example, like from the construction side, like plastering. So like plastering has been started. That's an event. So and the process like that is involved in plastering, that is an activity, and then once it's completed, so we say that okay, plastering is completed. So
Okay.
we need a event like starting event and then the activity and then the completion event.
Okay. Let's try to see it in I mean a visual representation. Okay.
Okay.
Or before that, anybody who wants to give his opinion, which is correct, B or C or both or none. We already eliminated 50-50. Lifeline is already over. You can discuss. So phone a friend is there. Okay. So moving on to something AoA and AoN. What is AoA? Activity on
So
arrow,
activity on arrow.
right?
Yes, sir.
Why do we have two? We will see to it. Uh, some assertion reason because the generation of guys who have worked on JE exams, they note that okay, these are common ones. AoA diagrams, events are connected by arrows. AoA diagrams are used to represent activities dependencies. Which of the following is true, A, B, C, or D? Okay, so let me draw it for you. AoA first. You have got an event, another event, and an activity. Okay, so what you have got is you have got a tail event, you have got a head event.
I think that's reverse. Like for if we are considering this activity, the head event needs to be I. Hello.
Yeah, so have I marked the tail event and head event wrong?
Like if we are considering for this activity, like the one that you have drawn,
Yeah,
then this representation I think is wrong. If had it been the case of previous activity, like uh, if there was a preceding activity to this, for that I would be the tail event. But for this activity, I think this should be the head event. I.
okay. See, we are talking in terms of. Did you guys get what he is stressing? Others?
Yes, sir.
So, is the nomenclature wrong here?
Like there for if we consider the whole project, like there is only one tail event and one head event. In between events, like there are kind of dual role events. Like for one activity it is head, and maybe for other activity, preceding activity, it could be tail, like that.
Okay. So, what I have right now in front of you is I have got one activity only. Let me draw it again. There is one activity, okay? And this is activity on arrow. So, you have got arrow. In arrows, you have got tail and a head. So, at head, you have got an event, head event, and at tail, you have got an event, tail event. Okay? Does this work now? Head and tail?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And we will see for when you have got multiple activities and multiple events, you will see what happens to these nomenclature. Okay. So yeah, in this case, both are true, and yeah, it is uh, events are connected by arrows to represent activity dependencies. Right. So A is the correct one. Now that part, head event, tail event, I'm not going into detail. Okay. He correctly said that if there are multiple events, then in see we'll always talk about head event or tail event with respect to a specific activity. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So the question is determine the immediate predecessor and successor activities for the given AoA network. Is the network AoA? You are
Yeah, it is a like activities are represented over arrows only.
okay. So what are the IPS immediate predecessor activities or predecessor activities, successor activities? Can you name
So
it?
for a, like we have no like null, so
Okay.
no predecessor activity, immediate predecessor. Yeah,
So for A there is nothing preceding I
yeah,
mean
precedent.
predecessing it, right? Similarly for B and
A,
C
B,
also.
C.
What about
Yes, sir.
activity D?
D is
So
the predecessor.
activity D, if we talk about, since we are so there B will be the
Okay,
immediate.
B.
Predict.
For E it would be C, and for F it would
Yes, sir.
be ABC.
A,
A.
A,
A
No,
A or
A.
ABC.
ABC, sir.
A.
No, but we are talking about the immediate one, na?
Yeah.
So I think it would be A only.
Okay.
But if we are this dotted line, like generally that is represent to
Sir,
uh,
ABC.
What is this
the
dotted
dummy
line?
activity. The dummy
Dummy,
activity.
Why do you have a dummy activity?
That is just represented to establish the what's the actual dependencies or relationship between various
Okay.
activities.
Yeah. If it is showing the relationship, then what does it mean for F to have a dummy activity linking it from B.
Like in order to start F, like B should as well be completed and C as well should be
So if they are to be
completed.
completed, doesn't that make them the immediate predecessor for F? See, this dummy means that B has to be completed before F can start. C has to be completed before F can start. That means B and C are its immediate predecessor, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, then.
See, this is the tail event. So for coming, if we have to say that okay, we have achieved this, arrived at this tail event, all the all the incoming arrows should be done.
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
So yeah, so this would be ABC. Similarly, predecessing activity none for this. I am not going to discuss. Can you similarly make the ISA table, immediate successor? For A, which activity would be immediate successor?
F.
F.
F. Okay. For B,
D and F.
D and F or only D?
D and F, sir, for me.
Okay, D and F.
D
And
and F.
for
D and F.
E, for C, it would be
C, E, F.
okay, EF. And these are like none. Okay. So um, now we will try to go into network analysis part. What is the purpose of forward pass in project management? Do you know what forward pass and backward pass is?
Like the direction of calculating the project duration, like that is from the very starting event. That's for forward pass, and
Okay.
when we flow from the backward thing, like the finished part, like finishing event. So that's the backward pass method.
To
Okay.
identify the early start or early finish or late start or late finish for backward pass, and for forward pass, it is early start and early finish.
So what would be the correct answer here? See, if the definition part is not clear, we will definitely solve a couple of numericals.
A is correct answer.
A, right? Which one is the correct one to calculate project
A.
A? Okay. What information does the backward pass provide? See, I am. It takes me a lot of time to create these kind of very basic MCQs. No textbook covers them, but as I have to keep the session format
A.
in Q&A format.
Late start and finish time.
Okay. Late start. What about slack and float?
Slack is the combination of backward and forward pass. Means when we deduct early start from late finish, then only we'll able to get the float like this.
Uh,
Float time.
okay. So we will see the calculation part. For given network, determine the total duration and discuss various event times and activity times. So, what is this? Event time, activity time?
The activity time, like that's the passage of time, and event times are like instantaneous.
Okay. So we will see that there are some technical terms related to event times and activity times. What is the total duration for this network? Let's try to calculate it. Okay. 314225. Yeah. This becomes your starting point, right?
So yeah, we'll assume it as 0.
Okay. So we will 0. What about here? No, sorry, that's not the proper annotation for this one. Okay. what what things can we calculate right now?
8 will be the total duration time, sir.
Okay, 8 would be the total
Like
duration.
we can on this note, like we can have the activity starting time, like the earliest start time and the latest start time.
Okay, so let's see. This is the starting node. You all agree?
Yes,
And
sir.
this is the end node. How many paths are there?
3 paths.
We have got B to
Three.
D, we have got A to F, and we have got C to E. Durations you would say 3, 8, and
8,
6. So you will
6.
say the total duration is 8. I mean, if you try to complete it in 6 days, A and F won't complete, right? I mean, simple as
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, but we have to start discussing in technical terms now. So let's delve into nomenclature first. When you have activity, you this is the nomenclature we will be using: earliest event time, late latest event time, okay, and slack. So let me just draw it out for you guys. What should be the first step for network analysis? What should be the first step? Okay, you just solved the objective on this. First step would be forward pass.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me change the pen color for you. Okay, forward pass. Early event time for arriving here, earliest, you can arrive at 0. What about this event? 0 plus 1? 1. So what formula did you use?
Like we are just adding the activity duration to the start time.
Okay, so uh, what at tail event, right? So EET at I plus duration of the activity, that is your formula.
Yes, sir.
So for D it would be EETS IS1 and duration is 2. Can it be 3 here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try another path. Okay, 0 plus 3, 3. Earliest event time at tail event plus duration 3. Now what here? 3 plus 5, 8. Same 4, 4 plus 2, 6. But what should be the value here?
8.
Why?
Because in order to for the successful completion of that event, like all the activities has to be completed, and the path that is AF that as well has to be completed. So that's the longest path. So that's why
Okay, so how is this formula to be modified? It is the max of
max of.
EETI plus duration A. Okay, what are the maximum values you are getting? The maximum one you have to put here. Now, what is the second step? Backward pass
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
to calculate all these values. What would be backward pass means going back, right? And forward pass means going in this direction. So, from which event would you start?
The last event.
Last event, right? So, what would be the value here?
8.
Why 8? Because
Like
no
we
other
will
data has been given to you.
yeah. So we have to take it anyways.
Okay, so let's come back. What would it be? 8 minus 2, 6. So your formula becomes uh, LETJ minus duration of activity A for LETI, right? Similarly, this becomes 8 minus 5, 3. 8 minus 2, 6. What about this now? You will get some values like 2, 0, and 5. Which one will you pick? 0,
The lowest one.
lowest one. Okay, so formula part, yeah, this seems very intuitive. Like anybody who wants to work with forward pass, backward pass, they will know ki haan, we have to take the minimum value here, we have to take the maximum value there. But the formula in technical terms is this. What about slack? Slack we will see in the next session. Okay,
Okay, sir.
or do you want to see it right now?
Maybe we can have just an overview, like the definition part only.
Okay, slack, what does the word mean to you? Forget about these terms. If you have to imagine, if I said that there is some slack, what would you imagine? Yeah, I just said that there is some slack. How are you guys imagining
Like
the
there is
words?
some ease, like I think there is
Okay,
some ease.
some
There is
ease. What about others? I mean, English is your language.
some float.
Anybody else? I mean, just imagine the word slack. I just said slack. What are you thinking right now?
Slack means float, I think so. Float means this activity. B means there is a slack 0 to 1. No?
Okay. Sir, I'm not talking about slack and float right now. I'm just talking about the English word slack. If I just say that there is some slack, what would you imagine? What would you think?
Ease,
Some kind of
relaxation,
leverage.
Okay, some leverage is there. There is some
ease,
leeway,
relaxation,
right? Some
relaxation.
relaxation. What else? Okay, so you can see what is event. Event is a point in time. What is activity? Activity is a time duration, represents time duration, right? So a length of
Yes,
time.
sir.
So when you're talking about a point in time, can you consider it as a knot in a rope? Let's say there is a rope. Okay, there is some knot here, then there is some knot here, some knot here. So these knots are your events if you talk about time, and the length here is your activity. Just a way to imagine. Okay, so there is some slack. What does it mean? That from the knot part there is some leeway or some relaxation. Okay, where at the no where you are knotted it. Okay, uh, similarly
Yes, sir.
we'll see float in another figure. Okay, so some definitions just for the purpose of completing the slides. You understood what is
Okay.
EET and LET, right? Anybody who didn't understand it? Okay, so we have got a raised hand. So
Sir,
earliest event, yeah.
that sir, I would like to please if you can repeat the definition of activity which you will give.
Sir, I can't hear you. Can you speak clearly?
Sir, can you please repeat the definition of activity which you have told earlier? That activity is the
Okay.
uh,
Mm, So, do I have some figure here?
after the event you have said na event is point in time and activity is that definition I am asking, sir.
Okay, activity is length in time. Length, representing some length, right?
Okay, sir.
Because it represents that, okay, some time has been spent in completing this activity, XYZ duration.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So, now let's repeat it like it was done in the lectures. Let's make the bar charts. Okay, bar chart for this. When does activity 1 start? Activity A starts in the beginning, right? Uh, Guys, you will have to help me here because I will kind of forget these durations. Or maybe let me take a picture. Okay, when does activity A start? At the beginning itself, right? And goes on for 3 days.
Yes, sir.
What
Yes,
about
sir.
activity B?
1.
1 from 0 to 1.
Yes, sir.
Activity C?
From 0 to 4, sir.
Activity C is 0 to 4. Okay. What about activity D? Now you don't know.
That will start
After activity B is
one
ended,
one day.
that's all one.
Yeah, one day.
1, sir.
Yeah. Activity E.
Fourth day.
Okay, at the end of 4
End of
days.
fourth.
For how many
Yeah.
days? 2 days.
Yes, sir.
And for activity F?
At the end of 3 day, third day.
Okay. So what is your critical path now? Let's try to imagine all these things. Okay. So as you can see that activity A is linked to activity F, then B is linked to activity D, C is linked to activity E, and all these things, right?
Yes, sir.
They show
A,
your project finish. Wait a minute, not from C.
A to F, sir.
Yeah, C is 4 days. A is from A to F, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And from D to end, you have got project finish, right? From D, from F, and from E. Okay. Uh, can you guys see the relationships now?
Yes, sir.
So if you have to track the critical path, what would you say? You can't delay activity A, you can't delay activity F, right?
Yes, sir.
What about other activities? Okay, just let me take you for activity E only. Okay. Now, if I move activity E from 5 to 6 to 7 8, still your project time won't change, right?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because it's
Because the finish of it is not having a further dependency.
Okay. So you can see that, and now can you imagine the float part? Float. Your activity E just floated from 5 6 to 7 8.
2 days. 2 days we have.
Yeah?
2 days.
2 days we have.
Yeah. So can you imagine? I'm just talking about the float word. Can you see it floating from 5 6 to 7 8?
yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this can be done. Let me erase it.
We can afford a 2 day lag.
Yeah. What about activity B?
Activity B. Yeah, we can afford us. No, but then the end is related to activity D.
No, but
So in this case, I think.
but D is its successor partner, sir, and B is itself a predecessor. So B, if B delays, then automatically D will going to delay, sir.
Okay. How much can be delay then?
5 days.
Hmm?
E can delay up to
5.
6.
Yeah. Yeah,
Four,
sir.
five, six, seven.
Hmm?
No, I don't think B can be delayed anyways because it's part of the critical. No,
No,
B,
critical path is AF.
and F. So
A and
D
F.
can be take six, means up to the end of six we can float B, but not more than that, because the duration time for D is 2 days.
Okay. So see, right now, if you try to move B, what will happen is your start time of activity D would also change.
Yes, sir.
Means any change in towards the end of activity B is going to affect another activity.
Maybe 5 days, like because that can the activity D can at most be shifted to the last 8th day. So that makes the float to be 5, I think.
No. See, right now, if we talk about independent float, we will say that okay, there is no independent float here. Like you can't move it here or there without affecting any other activity, right? But
Yes, sir.
as there is some dependency, and if you move D to this part, okay, that is your step number one.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, you can move your B to this part, right? That becomes your step number two.
Yes, sir.
So you can say that if there is floats are also dependent on predecessing and succeeding activities, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So you can imagine your networks on bar chart. These are the activities you imagined. What about the event? Can you imagine the event also? See, activities you imagined, right? It's in front of you. What about
Yeah,
the event?
like we can just mark the start and finish of each activity by using some notation.
Okay, just can you imagine it or not? Okay,
Yeah,
let me mark it. If you're
yeah, there
saying
is no.
start or end, okay.
Mhm.
So this can be one event, right? A, B, and C. This is just one event. What about the next? Okay, let me just show you what I want to show. This one, end of activity B and start of activity D. That is one event, right?
Yes, sir. So maybe we can.
Let me name it two. So
Yeah.
that two, event number two, can be moved here, right?
Yes, sir.
It moved here. So can you see the slack? Can you imagine the slack on bar chart? I know it is getting too cumbersome right now.
Yes, sir. We can imagine that.
Okay, so let's talk about some. We had event times, right? Now let's talk about activity times. When can activity D start?
After the finishing of activity B.
Only after B is finished.
Only after B is finished, or at the at the earliest when D can start is at the earliest event time of event 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So like if the B finishes the earliest, so the D can start at the earliest as well.
yeah, so it becomes EETI. What about the latest finish time of D when the project is ending, right? So latest finish time is latest event time of head event J. See, let me write it again for you guys. Okay, this is activity, this is your tail event, this is your head event, and as it is event, so it has got EET and LET. Similarly, when can D finish at the earliest? If it is starting at the earliest, so let it start at the earliest plus the duration of activity. Okay, So for it to finish at the last moment, when should it start? Late start time, latest finish time minus duration of activity.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anybody who is not clear about what we have written right now? Anybody? See, we can repeat it right now. What is going on, or we can see it with help of numerical.
Yes, sir, to repeat.
Yeah, numerical will give a better picture.
Okay, so let's see some definition part. I will highlight it. Early start time for what? For an activity. We are talking about activities right now, right? These are activity times. Can start is the earliest possible time within the project network diagram, right? And how is it determined? Considering the earliest times at which all preceding activities leading into an activity can be completed. And how do you know that they are completed? See, let me draw it for you guys. Okay. Uh, let's say this is your activity. Okay. For predecessing activities to complete, you will have to reach your event, right?
Yes, sir.
So if all these are complete, you can start your activity. That is what it is telling you in the definition. Similarly, early finish time, you start at the earliest and add the activity duration, the length of time. So it would be early finish time. Similarly, latest finish time, what? Latest possible time at which an activity can be completed without delaying the project overall completion. So you have got to this point. Similarly, for late start time, you subtract the duration. Okay. So that means EST would be your forward pass. This would be your backward pass. Right? Rest is just subtracting the duration. Let's see it in numerical. Okay, guys, help me draw the network again. This was the network, right? Uh, Obviously not.
Yes,
This
sir.
is just some lines. Uh, B is 1, A3, C4, D2, F5, and E2. If we try to analyze the network once again, I'll just write it on top and bottom. 0, 1, this will become 3, this will become 8, as we have seen. 0, this will become 4. Okay, now coming back, 6, 0, 3, and this becomes 6. Okay, did I miss something?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's try to write early start time for activity A. When can it start? You will say this is activity A. Its
0.
tail event is this, so earliest it can start is 0. For activity B, same.
0.
Yeah, C 0. What about activity D? When can it start?
1.
1. Right.
After completion of
For about
one.
activity E,
4.
4. Activity 4. Activity F,
3.
3. So early finish time, it would be this plus duration, right?
Yes.
So this becomes, right? Now we have got LFT and LST, let finish time. For activity D, F and E, you can see it is going to be 8. Right? Latest you can finish by 8. If you finish by 9, your project will be delayed, right? If you
Yes, sir.
finish any of these activities, D, E, and F by 9, your project will get delayed, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes 8. What about other activities? For activity C, latest you can finish by 6, so that even if you get 2 days of time, you will finish E and your project won't get delayed, right? So latest you can finish by 6. Similarly, in case of A, you have to finish by 3, and for B, you have to finish by 6. And what is this?
Deduct the
Huh,
duration.
minus duration. So this becomes 3. No, did I make a mistake here?
Sir, you have written.
Yeah. So 5 and this becomes 2. What about these? 660. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know this is like what you have got is some early start time, early finish time, latest start time, late finish time, and that too away from your network. I mean, to get the whole idea, you have to look at your network also, then you have to look at this table also. So there is the solution for
So
having it.
last,
Yeah.
it should be 0 for last F.
Uh,
LST.
no, it should be 3. Yeah. I just calculated it's like, yeah, there is no float or slack here. See, there are two things in front of you right now, a table and a network to give you an idea of what's happening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We will see how we can combine it into one. What is the primary purpose of a critical path?
A.
Okay, we have got an answer A. What about others?
Sir, yeah, A is true.
What about D? Okay, it is a 50-50 now. Okay,
Sir,
A or D?
like out of the various paths that are present in the project, so in regard to that, it's definitely like the critical path will be the longest only.
Okay,
But it is the shortest duration that that the project can be completed, I think.
let me go
So,
back to the question. What is
so
the primary
primary.
purpose of critical path?
So that will be only to determine the longest duration path in the project.
Shortest
So
project duration can also be the answer, sir, because we cannot. Uh, means we cannot.
Why is there confusion in these? I mean, is it the longest duration path or the shortest project duration? Okay, right now, if we go back to uh, our this network, what can you see? You have got critical path. Which one is your critical path? Guys, you have to be quick here. Which one is your critical path? And please turn on your mics. Which one is your critical path? Can you guys hear me? Or is there some network issue? Anybody? Okay, guys, please use your mics because uh, that saves me some time on in shifting tabs. Okay, so I have got replies in messages that A and F, A to F is critical path. Yeah, I am not able to. Okay, can you say something now? Okay, it seems like I can't hear anyone. My speakers are working fine. If I go to meet, uh, yeah, I can see that your mics are on, but I can't hear you. Okay, yeah. Let me see what I can do. Can you guys just give me a minute to check what's happening? Okay, let me join back. Just a moment, guys. क्या हो रहा है माइक नहीं आ रही माइक तो आ रहा है Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Sometimes technology also wants us to take break, and it has been some time, right? Almost 1.5 hour of
Yes,
going
sir.
through.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, where were we?
The screen is not shared, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. So where were we? You first tell me that part.
Yeah, the critical path, like
Critical path.
Okay. Is
we
it the
were
longest duration or the shortest duration, right?
contemplating
Longest
whether it
duration.
is the shortest or it is the longest.
Okay. So if you go to your question, A to F, 8 days, we will say that, okay, the longest path, it is showing your critical path, right? So A
Yes, sir.
seems to be correct. But can you do your project in 7 days? Can
So
you?
yeah, that is the minimum duration that is required to complete the project as well.
Okay. Uh, See, you can definitely do it in 9 days, but the minimum is 8 days only, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, so you will see that the primary purpose is to calculate the shortest project duration. Okay. Primary is always going to be this only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I got one interesting reply. It is a mean of long and short duration. Sir, can you elaborate? How is it a mean of long and short duration? Okay, no, sir, it's not. So, the primary purpose would always be to determine the project duration. The paths and all
And
are,
A, yeah, and A is like inherent, like it's automatically identified after we
yeah,
obtain this project duration.
yes. So, assertion and reason type question. The critical path determines the shortest possible duration to complete a project, right? Activities on the critical path have zero float, indicating no room for delay. It is also correct.
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
So, because activities have zero float and there cannot be any delay, that's why it is the shortest path, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
that means both are correct and reason is also correct. Okay. So, now coming to a one question that will test your network making skills. Okay, what are the information that has been given to you?
We have the dependencies and the duration and
Okay.
various activities.
So is the information enough to solve the question?
Yes, sir.
So what you have to do? You have to prepare a AoA network. You know what AoA is. Then
Yes,
another
sir.
question is, what are the number of dummies present or dummy activities, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, then determine the critical path, find the project duration. So it means if you do determine the critical path, you will find the project duration. What is the first step?
The starting node.
To draw the diagram, sir.
Okay, I mean that is the first question, right? So let's draw the diagram. Um, okay,
The
how?
dependencies also we have to consider.
What will be the first step to drawing for drawing the network diagram?
As ABC has no prior predecessor, so we'll keep the project start as the node and connect to three activities A, B, C,
So
and
yeah, like we will be drawing up burst event, like all the various activities will be bursting from it, emerging
Okay,
from it.
yeah. Um, is there any scientific way to do that? Okay, let me follow what your guys saying. Okay, so at the start I've got a burst event, and from that I've got A, B, and C. What next?
as sir D has the predecessor A,
Yeah.
so we'll start from there, sir.
Okay. So from A, let's say we have got D. What next?
And E has three predecessor B, C, F.
Yeah.
That is the predecessor of A.
So
Before
B,
going to
C, F.
C,
So and F has the predecessor A as well. So F needs to be connected to A,
Yeah.
and then B and C is like both like both three like all the three activities should have a common node, and then it should be linked to the other activity.
Okay, let's say we have got F. Then we link it here, all these three, right?
Yes, sir.
B, C, F together. And from there we start what? E.
E.
Yes, sir.
What next?
Sir, F can be the dummy activity or we have to put it as the direct means row.
Sir, what is a dummy activity? Dummy activity is something that is meant only for. Okay, let's discuss.
Introducing the yeah.
What is a dummy activity? It is dummy. See, what is activity? Activity is something that has time, okay, and that
Yes, sir.
consumes resources. So for dummy activity, time has to be zero and resource use has to be zero. Then if both are zero, then why do you need dummy activity? To make
Just
sense of a
to
network.
satisfy the yeah.
Okay. You know this representation. Uh, Let me give you a situation where activity A and activity B start and end simultaneously. Okay. So how would you mark it? Would you mark it like this? A, B. Can you do it?
Yeah, but the depiction is wrong. Like the networking,
What
uh,
is wrong?
like A can be represented by event like in terms of event 1 2 as well, and B as well 1 2. So that kind of creating a redundancy.
Uh, okay. Why? I mean, what is affecting here? What is the effect of having some redundancy here? You said that it is creating some kind of redundancy. Let's move forward with that. Why is it? Why does it matter?
Like if we are to represent the activities in form of events,
Okay.
like A will be also having 1 2 and B will be also having 1 2. That's why
So the thing is representation. Okay.
representation.
And if it is a network, what are you worried about is you want a unique representation. unique representation. And how are your activities represented? By the tail event and by the head event. For activity
Yes.
A and B, both are same. It doesn't give
Yes,
you
sir.
a unique representation, right? So how would you represent it?
By introducing another node and a dummy activity.
Yeah. So you can have it like this. Can you have it like
So
this
activity.
also? Which of the above representation, which of these representation is correct?
Both are correct, sir.
Mm, I mean, then will it create some ambiguity? Okay, so
I think there are some networking rules that if we are following that,
okay,
that
in
can.
this case, just for two activities, you don't have any other activity coming in, so no other rules interfering, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in this case, you would find that it is correct, but as soon as you have got other activities, there might be some change. Is this what you are trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let me come back to this question. What next?
So like now G and C. G activity C is immediately preceding activity G.
Okay. So if you're
So
talking about activity G, then G should come here or where? I mean, activity C is ending here. We can't have G here, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I think there is a need
Dummy
to
activity
introduce a
somewhere,
dummy.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that means after C, we can have a dummy activity and giving us G. What next? We have come till G.
Now the next is H. So that will, yeah,
H
this is
follows G,
immediate
right?
success. Yeah, yeah,
And what about I? I follows D.
yeah. A follows D,
And
E and
J
H.
follows E and H.
Yeah.
And okay, so I is also a tail event. I mean, yeah, not tail event, but it is completing. So you
Mhm.
get this kind of a network, right?
Yes, sir.
See, even with 10 activities, you found that you had to go back, cut through, you had to repeat, you had to change, right?
Yes, sir.
So, is there any other way to get this diagram at the first in the first go?
Like I haven't encountered any other way.
Okay,
I'm not sure if there is one.
so we have made a AoA diagram, and number of dummies is 1, right? Critical path and all is remaining. Let's try to answer this question. A systematic way to go through this. We had only 10 activities. What if we had 100? It would have created some trouble, right?
Yeah, that would be very hard.
Yeah. So, one way is sequential steps. What do you mean by sequential steps? It is the order in which activities have to be done. Like at the first place itself, you can complete A, B, and C,
Yes, sir.
right? So, at the first, you have to complete A, B, and C. You cannot complete D at the first place, right? Because A is not complete.
Yes, sir.
So, what you do is you strike off A, B, C, then you check for the next. SS1 is done. Second step, in second step, you can do D, F, and G, no predecessor remaining, right?
Okay, sir.
uh, D, F, and G. Then you strike off these also. Okay, C was already done. F, G, D. What about the remaining ones now? E is also done. H is not done, right? Yeah. So E and H becomes your 3, and this becomes your 4. Can you guys follow this? What I did right now? I also wrote it in a staggered manner so that you can see.
So in between, it get a little bit confused.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh, so what is happening is sequential steps. If all these 10 activities were to be done, you would say that at max there are 10 steps that you can do, right? If you do it in staggered manner, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, one
yes, sir.
activity at each stage, at each step. But you know
Yes, sir.
that there are many activities that can occur in the same step, right? Parallel activities.
Yes, sir. Parallel
So
activities.
what we did is we tried to identify the parallel activities, not sure that they would start or end at the same time, but they could occur nearly on the same step. Like A, B, and C, they could be done in parallel, right?
Yes, sir.
So we gave them number one. Now let's if you gave them number one at the first step, your A is done, your B is done, and your C is done. And then when you go to second step, what of the you will say that okay, if A is done, D has no predecessor pending, F has no predecessor pending, G has no predecessor pending, right?
Yes.
But other
So
activities have,
you're striking off ABC because that's already two.
yeah.
Okay.
So now what you will do is you can do other activities which will D, F, and
Yeah.
G.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now if D, F, and G are also done, you will say now I can do another three activities, E, H, and
Yes,
I,
sir. Yes, sir.
and at fourth I can do J.
Yes, sir.
Now, how does this help you in drawing the network diagram?
So, like we have, to me, like we have got the different phases. Like in first phase, A and B, C can simultaneously occur,
Yeah.
and then DFI, and then EHI, and then
DFG
J.
in second phase.
So let me draw it, okay? As it is
Yeah.
activity on arrow network, right? Similarly for the next phase, I know you will find this very cumbersome because you already got the correct network. But if you hadn't got the correct network, you would have found it very useful. Okay. So what you do is you start giving them relationships by using dummy activities. We know what dummy activity is, right?
Yes, sir.
So, uh, what about activity D? It follows activity A.
Yes,
You
sir.
give a dummy activity here. For F, another dummy activity. For G,
Srinivas, you called up, ma.
you have got C. What about activity E? You have got B, C, and F.
Yes, sir.
So B, C, and F. And for activity H, you have got G. For activity I, you have got D.
D.
And for activity F, no, okay, yeah. For activity J,
FQTI.
you have got E and H.
Yes, sir. E and H.
So now it's like, okay, we are confused again. But what you need to do is now is remove the dummy activities and that's it. Your network is ready. You merge all these three. Okay. And at the end also you can say that okay, I and J would be the trailing ones. Happy with this part?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? So what you do is you pick any one of these and start drawing the network. Okay. So you have got A, B, and C. Then from A, you know that you can combine these two. Do you guys, are you guys happy with the rules of dummy activity?
Like I'm trying to see that like since we have introduced many dummies, now like how will we able to identify the correct dummy that is to be introduced?
Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see this case only. I know, not a good color, not visible. As you can see that there is one event. Uh, there is nothing else is coming here, right? So
Yes,
what
sir.
you can do is, if both these dummies are not here, you can have one event here, and it could be converted into a burst event, right? By removing the dummies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Similarly, you pick any other dummy here, like uh, this EHJ becomes the same case.
Yes, sir.
But you will see by yeah, this one GHI becomes the same case.
Yes, sir.
What is not reducing is D. Okay, see, there was one dummy we missed, so it cannot be the same case. Yeah, so you can see that just to make the network better, you move I towards up and H towards down. Yeah, it will take some time, but we don't have that
Like
much time.
since yeah for this network because that was a pretty straightforward one. This one is looking to be complex, but maybe for large networks, this is the set pattern and great
Yeah,
pattern to work with.
yeah. So we have the network. Let's try to analyze it. We will try to do it fast because we have to complete AoN also. Okay, this is the network. What about events now?
Yes.
Activities are shown. What about events?
We'll just number that.
Why?
Maybe we can to like intuitively to add a sequence form of a thing to
Okay,
identify them uniquely.
yeah. So for naming the events, we have some rules.
Numbering.
Fulkerson's rules. Okay. What is that? That you have to move forward with time. I mean, your head event number should always be greater
Greater than.
than your tail event number. Okay. Then there has to be unique. I mean, you can't repeat the numbers. Yeah, I have got one raised hand. Sanjay Chaurasia ji, would you like to say something or ask something? Okay, number of events, 6 events. I think there are more than 6, right? Okay, let's name them using Fulkerson's rule. This doesn't have any predecessor coming in. This becomes your first event.
Yes, sir.
Now, any activity that is coming from first event, you ignore them at this step. So what else can be your next event? You can see that both these events don't have any incoming arrows, so they can be 2.
Yes, sir.
But let me write this 2 and this 3. Okay.
The reverse can be also true.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Now if you are done 2 and 3, remove the arrows coming from these activities. Now this and this event can be numbered. So 2, 3, I'll just name them in order. 4, 5 and 6, right?
Yes, sir.
As soon as I mark cross off these, now this one would be your 7,
Yes, sir. And
and
the last
after you
one.
cross off, this one would be your 8. So this is Fulkerson's rule for numbering. Now let's try to analyze the network. Uh, what we have got here is, we have got early event time, late event time. I'll focus on this part first. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
forward pass first. 0, 0 plus 12, no other incoming arrow, so this becomes 12. 12 plus 14, 26. 26 plus 17, 43, but another incoming arrow, right? So we can't be sure which is the minimum.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Similarly,
Maximum.
yeah, which is the maximum. Okay. So from this arrow it would be 12 plus 9, 21. From this arrow it would be 10. Any other incoming arrow? Yes. So this becomes 11. 11.
11.
So 11, which is the bigger one? 21, right?
Yes, sir.
All arrows accounted for. For this it becomes 25. 25
Yes,
plus
sir.
13,
30.
38 or 41, right?
Yes, sir.
So it becomes
51.
41. Similarly here, 53 or 43 or 51? 51,
51.
51. 51.
right?
Yes.
So you guys happy with forward pass?
Yes, sir.
Let's see backward pass now. As no end date is given, we will take it as 51. Okay. Back arrow, just one arrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 51 minus 17,
34.
34. Back arrow here, 34 minus 14, but two arrows. So from this arrow you have got 20. Let's check another ones. 51 minus 10, 41, no other arrow, 41. 41 minus 13, how much is it?
28.
Okay. 41 minus 20, just one incoming arrow, so no issues here,
20.
right? 28 minus 14, it can be 14, or 21 minus 11, it could be 10. So which one will it be?
10.
10, minimum one. Okay. Now coming to this one, another arrow pending. 21 minus 9, 12. Minimum one, 12.
12.
So let's come to this event. First event now. This would be either 0 from this arrow, 11 from this arrow, and what? Did we make some mistake or what? I mean, if you subtract it 10 minus 11, it becomes minus 1, na? So that means we made a mistake here. This cannot be 10, na? This is 21. This is dummy activity.
Yes, sir. So we missed that.
So it would be 21 only. So this becomes 14. 14 minus 11, this becomes 3. See, right now what happened is, you saw the idiot proofness of this network analysis. Okay. I mean, if you know the basic concepts, the idiotic mistakes would be quite visible. So that becomes 0. Your backward pass is also done. What next? What is your critical path now? What is the critical path?
The longest,
Yeah.
longest path.
So instead of that, let's calculate slack first.
AFEJ.
Okay. Let me write it. AFEJ. Okay. Slack is what? Slack is equal to LET minus EET. Okay. Let's do it. This becomes 0. 0. How much is it? 8. 0. 0. 3. 0. 3. Does slack help you in any way in determining the critical path?
I think that's not always true.
Not always true. But
Yes, sir.
if you go on linking events with 0 slack, right?
You can mark a double arrow.
Yeah.
The
So,
events that are having
so
0 slack.
let's try to mark it. Head event 0. I mean, first event we have got 0 slack. From
Yes.
that 0 slack you have got 2 events, right? So you can't be sure which one is critical.
Yes, sir. So there are two different paths.
Yeah, but we have already determined, right? That A, F, E, and J is our critical path. See now, did you understand that slack is not.
A very good thing to
Yeah.
determine the critical path.
If you had just matched it, it would have given you that B, E, and J is also critical, right? That would have made your project duration what? 10, 20, and 10, 40. But you know that it is 51.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so,
Maybe by using Slack, we can just eliminate the various paths that are not for sure critical path, but we can just get closer to the like we can just work upon the remaining options for the critical path.
okay. See, we will be discussing Slack and Float in detail in the part 2 of network analysis.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
we'll
sir.
try to imagine it better there. So, now coming to activity on nodes network. Right now, what was happening is that we had events, right? Events were coming. Did you use event anyway? I mean, you're not even worried about events. You don't know what event 2 is, what event 4 is. What you are worried about is what activity A is, what activity D is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's try to remove events. So how can we remove events? Activity on node network. That instead of joining another activity by some event, right? One, two, three. Let's just have activity A and B follows activity A, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is activity on node network. What does this arrow represent?
Like it's just representing, like it's not a length of time, I think.
Yeah, it is not a length of time. It is just showing the
Yeah, the
dependency.
linkage. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dependency.
And then you will find one thing that you don't even need dummy activities here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So activate on node network diagram. Which of the following is represented by nodes? Activity.
Yes, sir.
So now we have to prepare a AoN diagram. And yes, this is different from the previous one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see if um sequential steps help. Okay,
Yes.
and we'll start with SS here, and we will run through it. First, M, P, Q, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Strike.
P, M, Q, we strike off. Anything else? No. Then this becomes 2. Which one? N, O, and R. O, O,
Yes, sir.
N, R. So this becomes 3. Nothing else, right? Now what you strike off? S and T, right? So S and T you strike off. So this becomes 4. Now you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sequential steps. Mark them.
Yes.
M, uh, P, Q.
You.
Similarly, what next? N, O, R. What next? S and T. And what next? U and V. What you have to do is you make a project start here and project end here. Okay. Now let's link it. Uh, activity N follows activity M. Activity O follows activity. Okay. No, I M. Yeah, for O, M is the predecessor. For N, P is the predecessor. For R, what is the predecessor? Q is the predecessor. What about S? S and T, you have got O, right? What about U and V? U is T,
And V is NRS.
N, R, and S.
So now this is like fairly easy. Like
Yeah.
previously, I think we were using a different form of a diagram, like uh,
No, see,
activity on arrow.
yeah, we can do it in that part also, but that requires a knowledge of dummy activities. the
Okay,
rules
sir.
of dummy activities. Right now here you don't have dummy activities, so you have got the network in front of you. All you need to do is you have to twist it somehow so that it
Mm,
looks better.
okay, sir.
Yeah, let's
So it isn't like that. The sequential steps, like, they help much better in this
yeah,
AoN technique rather than AoA technique.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay, sir.
So what you can do is, let's say if this becomes T and S, okay, and similarly let's have these O and N. Now if we draw it, O follows activity M, N follows activity P, then T and S, right? Activity O. Yeah, let me change these also. But okay, you got an idea, right? What we are trying to do.
Yes, sir.
So this is the kind of network we get. Okay, MPQ. What is the representation here? Let me write it. You have got activity, you have got duration, you have got early start time, you have got early finish time, you have got late finish time, and you have got late start time. What about these boxes? You have got total float here and free float here. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so let's try to do it. 0, follow the same rules. This becomes 0,
0.
right? uh, Add in the activity duration here, 10, 8, 9. Similarly bring it to this point, 10, 10 plus 8 becomes
18.
18. This becomes 18, 18 plus 6, 24. Only one arrows, right? So 24 plus 4 becomes
28.
28. Similarly, next path, 8,
Yes.
8, 24, 24, 3 arrows, let's wait, 18, this comes here, 18 plus 7, 25, right? 9, 9 plus 7, 16, which is the largest one, 25, 24 and 16. 25 comes here, 25 plus 4,
25. 29.
29. So your complete project duration becomes 29. See, that was your forward pass. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's try your backward pass. 29. Guys, I will need you to follow the calculations because there are chances of mistakes. I can see
Yes,
right
sir.
here. Okay. So 29. Let's come back. 29 minus 4, 25. This comes 25. 25 minus 6, 19. Similarly, 29, 25. This is 25 again.
18.
18. This becomes 25. 25 minus 7, 18.
18.
18. 18 minus 9, 9.
9.
For this arrow, 25. Right? 25 minus 16, 9.
9.
So 9. 9 minus 8, 1. Similarly here, 18 and 19. So which one?
18.
18.
18.
18 minus 8, 10. 10.
10.
This becomes 10. 10 minus 10, 0.
0.
So 0, 1 and 9. So this becomes 0.
0.
Can you identify the critical path here? Or
Yes,
let's
sir.
do the calculation. Okay. Total float is equal to
SV.
uh, LFT
EFT
minus
LFT
EST minus
EST
duration. Okay.
minus duration. Okay.
So this becomes 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, uh, what, 1, and this becomes 9, this becomes 9, right?
Yes, sir.
And if we check just like where total float is 0, then activity
MOSV.
M, O, S and V. Is it giving you a clear path now? No alternate path?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Happy with this? Okay, we just rushed through this network analysis
Okay.
because of time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we could have tried using the Slack thing as well, and then we could have seen
Okay.
if
See,
there was
yeah,
multiple paths available in that method rather than this method.
we will
Yeah,
visit.
but
We will visit at least one of these questions again.
yeah, yeah.
Guys, one important thing. Any doubt regarding your previous assignments because both have been submitted?
No, sir.
Okay. So anything regarding this session that I should repeat right now or summarize or recap?
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So any questions regarding this session? Yeah, I have got raised hands. You guys can just turn on your mics.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, in the in the first week assignment, that composite score
Yeah.
formula will be there or not? Just I am getting confused, sir.
Uh, okay, I'm not getting
For
your
the
question. Yeah.
for the first week
Yeah.
assignment,
Yeah.
this financial safety and this technical score for finding out any one common formula for the composite score will be there or not.
No,
That
no, no.
the
There won't be a common formula. See, what is happening is that in that question, some other condition would be given.
Mhm.
Okay.
You have to see that condition, na?
Yeah, you have to go through the conditions that are mentioned in the question.
Suppose in case I will try again. If
Yeah.
not, can we post on this question, sir, this screen?
Just give me a moment, okay? I'll open it. Week one, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me share the quiz here. Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yeah, yes.
Which question?
The first one, financial bid. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it is. Was it week two or week one?
Might be weak too, sir. One thing, sir. I will not take more time because already
No, no, no. That is not an issue. See, time
no.
is for general content. For discussion, we can go on as long as we need to discuss.
As per my memory goes, it was supposed to be first, but it is maybe in second, sir.
Uh,
Just
no, it
that's
should.
that's why I will post this question to you, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
That is one thing that you can do definitely.
Uh.
Uh,
Posting means through on this dashboard only we can put, na sir? How is going?
yeah. Here you can go ask a question and post it here.
Okay, okay. I will post this one, sir.
Yeah,
Studying that again, I will try once again.
yeah.
The
Because
difference of
yeah, it is supposed to be in week one only.
no, yeah. Because all technical bid, financial bid, and safety,
Yeah,
all are it should be in first only.
yeah. First week only. I am not.
Yeah, yeah. This one, sir. This is, I think,
No, no, no. This one is different. This one is bar chart.
this is
Yeah, this is bar chart. No, that numerical. Or were you solving the numerical from?
Maybe
Uh,
like he's talking about a different course.
Uh, it's not
Financial bid is for, I think, sir, for
oh.
Yeah,
procurement and tendering.
Sir,
principles of construction
absolutely. I am
management.
very sorry, sir. My friend has
construction.
Sir,
It is
principles of
principles
construction
of
management
construction
question I am
management.
raising. Sir,
Okay.
I will raise
Construction
this question
management.
in that class, sir. Please.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, no worries at all. I mean,
because you are being common faculty
yeah,
for
yeah,
this
that is. I
clarifications.
can,
It
For
has
I
been.
can.
both.
Even for me, it was like I was expecting it in week one, and I'm not seeing it. It gives me chills. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what we'll do is, uh, we will have that session on Tuesday, right? 3 days later.
Which ones are that? Principles of
Yeah,
construction
principle of
management.
construction management. So
Tuesday. Okay, okay.
yeah, so at the beginning or towards the mid of the session, we will discuss previous assignments.
Okay, okay, okay. Right, sir. Okay. Thank
Ye-
you.
Yeah.
Sir,
How many of you guys are doing both sessions?
Myself, I have taken, sir, but
Okay.
Sir,
still.
I also taken, but not officially not doing the notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So a handful of you are there. So I mean, so I am looking forward to see you guys in both these sessions. Okay.
Yes,
It
sir.
it will make it worthwhile for me also
Okay,
if I
okay.
have the audience that I can connect to.
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay. So any questions regarding the contents of week three?
Okay.
sir, the can you please differentiate what means a proper slight small differentiation between slack time and this total float, sir?
Okay. Slack and float. See, these are very different things. Okay. Uh, Float is related to activities and slack is related to event. Like, let me go to one question where we have got some slack calculation. Okay. Focus on activity B here.
Yes, sir.
Can I take it? Can I take this activity out for you guys? Activity B 00, B10, and 21, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay. Let me add a new slide first. Okay. What? This is, let me name it event 1, event 2, right? So, uh, what is the early event time for 1? They are already shown, right? This is AoA representation. Now let's start calculating activity times for activity B. What is the earliest start time for activity B? I know this seems quite cumbersome because we have to go through the hoops to just see what is happening here. Okay, help me do it fast.
Zero, sir.
0. Why? Because it is earliest event time of head event, right? 0. Same LFT, late finish time. Late. So it would be late event time for activity 2, for event 2. Sorry, 21. Similarly, early finish time would be 0 plus 10,
Yes,
10,
sir.
and late start time would be 21 minus 10 is equal to 11.
11.
Yeah. So you have got 2 points in time, or like we were talking about knots, na? You have got here 0, you have got here 21, right? On a timeline. And somewhere in between, you have got activity B, which takes 10 days. Can you imagine it now?
Yes, sir.
Right? On 0, for 0, you have no slack, right? You cannot lose it. there is no slack here. Same for for 21 this event, there is no slack. Event 1, event 2, the line is taut, but activity B is there, its duration is less, so it can float here or there. Can you imagine it now?
Yes, sir.
What else can happen is that it can also happen like this. This itself has some slack and there is some activity, so it can move here or there.
So I have one question.
Yeah,
Like this activity B, we are considering it as continuous activity,
yeah,
like right starting from the start until end. Like what
yes.
if it was a like discrete kind of thing? Then
uh,
how will we proceed about it?
okay, sir, if you want to go into detail about scheduling, I mean this contiguous or interruptible activities, uh, I would suggest you to go into uh, there is one recording on my channel, scheduling techniques in projects week 2 deals with this topic only, precedence diagramming method, contiguous and interruptible activities.
Okay, sir.
So that is
Yeah,
like,
I'll see that.
yeah, in detail if you want to go, you can look it there.
Okay, sir.
Sir, from where can get the channel of yours, sir?
uh, okay,
Maybe you can share the link once again in the chat group.
yeah, I will do that.
Yeah, if you will keep that, that will kind of save in the presentation only.
Yeah, uh, let me open it for you guys.
Like my major concern on asking the question was I was
Yeah.
trying to imagine that how would float and other things vary like this
Okay,
activity.
so what you have is that, okay, if this is your concern, let's go back to slides. I mean, I am telling this because you will like it.
Okay, sir.
Just a moment. Window. Okay, can you see the slide?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, if you are breaking this activity down into two parts, okay, let's say there
Yes.
is B1, B2.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, so many other terms come. Like you have got start restricted float, where the start of activity B is restricted, or you have got end restricted float. Are you getting it?
Start restricted float.
So
Yeah.
here the float is around 11 days, so we can split the activities and arrange it in anywhere. Is
Uh,
that it?
okay. Sir, how? See, we saw that activity duration depends on so many things. One is resources also, right? If you split it in, if you split it like this, that let's say 5 days now, 11 days of break, and 5 days now. For 5 days, you have to call your team for doing the first half. Then for 11 days, you will give them the break, and for 5 days again, the same team will come again. That team might not like this manner. I mean, they have no work for this 11-day period, right? I am just talking about
So
one resource.
maybe for resource leveling we can use this
Yeah,
if we want to allocate that resource to another thing for that 11 days.
yeah, that way you can do. See, it is in, if the activity can be interrupted, you can do it in as many parts as you want, as many parts as you are comfortable with. But if it is something like when you are concrete, when you are pouring concrete for a chimney, right? You know that for each and every lift it has to be continuous, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
So in that case, you cannot interrupt the activity. But if it can be interruptible, it is up to you. It is how you feel it useful. You can break it down. And as the question was that how the float differs
Yes, sir.
when we break it down. So yeah, uh, some rules come in, like if it is start restricted, that okay, anyway you have to start at event 1 only, then the float would change. Or anyway you have to finish on 2, you cannot finish somewhere between, so then the float will change. Different types of floats come in.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so let me just post the link. Where can I find it? Yeah. Okay, till then, any other question? Yeah, any question? Any other question?
Like these networking techniques, like we are studying it theoretically,
Yeah,
but how it will be, beneficial at the time of running a project, like when it is active, when it is kind of used.
okay. Uh, See, first of all, what you will disc- what you will feel in this course is that in most of the cases it is theoretical, but
Mm.
somewhere around the time we saw the example of how you would deal in case if you are a planning engineer, right?
Yes, sir.
And in that sense also, you know that if you had some schedules, you would have gotten the exact values, you would have known when to get the resources,
Yes, sir.
right? If there are a lot of activities and you have to, I am just talking about resources perspective, because that
Hmm.
is the thing we have been discussing other than time.
Yes, sir.
So if you have to schedule your resources, you have to organize your resources such that a single resource can be used at in the same project at multiple points,
Yes,
or
sir.
in for different projects, you would need to schedule it, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the scheduling basic, that first of all you should know the project duration, and you should know when the activity starts, when the activity ends. You should know what leeway you have to play with the resources, play with time.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
But as you move forward, you will see that okay, there are things like my network says that the project can be completed in 12 months, but my deadline is 10 months. What to do now? You have to do some crashing.
Like, yeah, you were saying that minimum project duration that has to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, we were referring to that example as well.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Then what happens if I say that okay, uh, my network says that I can finish my project in 12 months. The client has given me 15 months. What if
Hmm.
I stretch my project to 14 months such that it cost me a little less? If
Yes,
I
sir.
have no other project starting
Yes, sir.
and I already have some project stuff, so I would feel that okay, before another project starts, I should keep them occupied in this project so that I can take their salary from this project itself, right?
Yes, sir.
So that way you can use float both negative and positive. Similar for activities also, resources also. Then if you have the exact schedule planned that okay, when I have to perform some activities, you can purchase your resources beforehand. From schedule you can get your own cash flow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some activities might be very cash consuming, and in some activities you would have got much,
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
excuse me, much margin, so that you would say okay, let me perform the activities with more margin first, so that I will get more profits earlier.
Hmm.
So a lot of things depend on scheduling.
Yes, sir. I'm getting your point.
Yeah, and you will see that whatever schedule you make on site, hardly sticks to the schedule. Yeah, in cost component, whatever cost you have planned, you can stick to the cost, but sticking to the schedule is, I mean, I haven't seen it being done.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Uh, any other question, guys? Okay. So this brings us to the end of this session. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for responding.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good night.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully, I will see you guys in the subsequent sessions. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Definitely.
we will-